first thing is what controls the club face, and that is how your hands are positioned on the grip. So the ball goes to the right. This is the heel of the club. This is the toe of the club. So if the ball goes to the right, that means that the heel is there before the toe. And if the toe is there before the heel, the ball will go to the left, and if they're there at the same time, it makes it go straight. So what controls that is how we have our hands positioned on the grip. So when I see your left hand and your right hand, we use little V's that are formed where those blue lines are. So we want those to run parallel to one another. If you see the Tiger Woods here, the white glove is hard to see. We're going to see that that left hand matches it. So if your ball's going to the right, the first thing we need to do is turn your left hand over to the right to stop that, to get that toe to go. Now for face on here, what we want to imagine is that we're getting ready to play defensive basketball. So if we're playing defensive basketball, that means that our feet are about shoulders width apart, our knees are slightly flexed, and we're bent over forward. We can feel the weight of the ball. Now, just looking at you, you're much too close to the ball to start with. And what we want to get to is more of an athletic stance. So here at address, we're going to have, this is where Brandon Seneca looks a little bit more like he's getting ready to play defensive basketball. So his weight is much more forward on his feet. And here with how erect you are, your weight is more towards the feet. And how high do you hit it? Do you think you hit it high enough? Like to hit it a little higher, right? So what controls how high it goes, just like the grip controls the club face, your head controls how high we hit the ball. So right away we notice what sticks out is Seneca here has about a 15-degree tilt with his spine to the right. Or his right shoulder is more outside of his right hip than what we see with yours. Well, maybe just play a bit further forward. Up at the top of your backswing, you see why it has a big lean over to the left. Let's go over here. Seneca, we see how he is leaning to the right. So if we draw a line up from the ball, tell us where's our head in relationship to the ball. We see a huge discrepancy. So what's going to make your ball go higher is if you get your head further behind it. So as we start down here, we see Seneca move forward to it. And here we see Wyatt with his head up front. And that's not going to make that ball go very high because when you move forward like that, your club is going to go from a 7 iron to a 4 iron. So this ball's not going to launch very high unless we do some other crazy things. So this lesson is going to be pretty simple. We're going to change how you set up, which is going to change everything. So let's have you get back over there in that first spot again. So just one ball after we make that change. Now we see there's Wyatt's head back behind it versus the old one on the right. As we go back, we see Wyatt's head still back behind it, different than what we see here. Your head over to the left. Now as we come down into it, with your head back more, the shaft's not going to have as much lean, and you're going to be able to hit the ball much higher. Let's try a few more. I just want you to get into it that way for just a few more balls. So just like we saw the difference from the front, we're also going to see a difference from the back view. Where now we see that Wyatt looks a little bit more like playing defense in basketball on the left-hand side. Better posture, your arms can hang down just a touch more. Versus that one on the right where you're real stiff and straight up and down. So I would say that you've probably done this before, Wyatt. Just that over the winter time, you got a little closer to it, you've probably thrown a little bit, right? And you're just a little bit too cramped. So now this would be really good over here on the left, much more athletic. You don't see the rounded back. can tilt our spine about 15 degrees to the right with our head back behind the ball each and every time we hit it, whether we're hitting a wedge or a driver. Now, the only thing I want you to think of is, because we want to hit it higher, we have to control where your head goes a little bit more. So I want you to think of your head as three positions. Here's his head to start with. Here's his head on the backswing. So you'll see, what I want you to realize is that his head moves about a half a head width over to the right. Then here at impact, we draw a red circle. So it matches up back where it was at address. So if we look at Wyatt's new giddy up, that's a good setup position. Blue one. And then we go back. You see how your head leaks about a half a head width the wrong way. Now as we come down, we're not seeing it back up at all. And what we're going to see when we do that, when the head gets in front, is just a little shot that pulls to the left. So the only thing I want you to think about is setup, and when we make a backswing, that your head moves more to the right. So I want your head to be more along that circle. Right. We want to be able to control two things: the club face in relationship to our ball, and our head in relationship to our ball. So the further your head back is behind, the higher the ball comes. If the toe's there before the heel's going to hook to the left. If the heel's there before the toe, it's going to hook, or it's going to slice to the right. What controls that is how your hands are positioned on the grip. What you want to take with you today is that we want to set each and every time like this with our head behind us versus where we were here. With our head over to the left of the ball. Big difference up at the top of the backswing. We want to get all of that lean to the left out, and we want it to look more like we see with Mr. Snedeker. We see a big difference in the spine. Because what we found is we're hitting quite a bit behind the ball. You can see how close the club is to the ground. And if we look here with Snedeker, you can see how high the club is. So the main difference is where's that head. And then learning to control your face. Because you're going to draw until you start to control the face. I'm not real worried about that because we're still about a month away from